Hi, I'm Zekiah Blackburn. I'm the owner of Sunreed Instruments, as well as the Director of Education at the Center of Light, School of Sound Healing, and Institute of Shamanic Studies. We're developing a series of introductory videos on crystal bowls, and this particular video is intended to help you begin the use of crystal bowls. This is assuming you've already made the selection of a bowl, and we're offering this video to help you learn to play it and how you might use it. There are a wide selection of crystal bowls, many different sizes and types, from frosted bowls such as the one before me, to clear bowls, handle bowls, mineral fusion bowls, and others. We'll have other videos that talk about some of those other bowls. At this time, I'm just going to talk about the use of one frosted bowl. The frosted bowl were the first bowls that were manufactured in the United States. The manufacture of them began back in the 1970s and 80s. And the crystal bowls are made out of a 99.96% pure silicon quartz crystal. It's made out of the pure silicon because the bowls actually were first fused or manufactured to grow silicon chips in for computers. And apparently someone found out that they have a really nice voice quality and decided to start using them in different types of sound practices. If you strike the bowl with the simple striker, or you ring the outside of it with one of the strikers, it will create a sustained tone which is very vibrant, very rich, and very clear and distinct. Unlike metal bowls from the Tibetan and Himalayan lineages, for instance, because this is a pure quartz material, it has a more singular, more clear and true resonant quality to it. The Himalayan bowls are made out of different metal alloys and have many harmonics and different sound qualities that arise from the voices of those. The voice quality and pitch of the crystal bowls are determined primarily by the type of the bowl, but primarily by the size of the bowl. The larger the bowl in general, the deeper the pitch. There are many different pitches that might be available in one size. This particular bowl is a 14-inch bowl. It's in the key note of C, and that would be the fourth octave or middle C if you were playing a piano. So it's a common pitch to use for voice or music, and it's the bass frequency used in chakra tunings and in people working with the crystal bowls for the chakra system. The typical pitch that you begin on is C for the root chakra, and that's what this bowl would represent. So it's a very good starting place, is to have a C bowl. Typically you might find one between around 11 inches and 14 inches to find a middle C bowl. This is a perfect pitch bowl that's tuned to the 440 scale, which is the traditional scale for most modern musicians. There are other types of scales and frequencies that can be used, and we can talk about that another time. But we're starting with a middle C 14-inch bowl. And again, just by striking it simply, you get a very bass fundamental sound. And you can just rest in that sound by itself. Just ringing the bowl, much like a bell, and just feel the sound quality. Let it penetrate you. Rest in it. Get used to it. Get familiar with it. At some point, you want to create a relationship, literally, with the bowl. That will help you come into using it well. So you want to get accustomed to the quality of sound it has and how you might strike it to get a larger or louder sound or a softer sound. And also using a different wand or striker can make a difference. This one has a silicon tube on a crystal sleeve or a crystal rod, and this is a wooden rod that has suede around it. You can hear it's a little sharper sounding. So again, just by striking the bowl, you get this fundamental resonance, and you can just rest in that. Feel the sound waves just drifting out, and let your own awareness sink into that sound wave. Let it expand out into just open space, just to become more restful and clear in your own mind. Using your own mindful awareness will help you a great deal in using the bowl for different meditative and healing practices. Many people believe that the crystal bowls have healing qualities, and that's in part because it has such a distinct, rich, vibrant sound that allows our neurology and our mindful states to go into a deep place of restfulness. And the more that we cooperate with that and collaborate with that, the more it will help us do it. In my way of viewing, sound helps accentuate our inner states. It's a tool to use to help develop deeper states of awareness. We shouldn't be dependent upon the external aspects of the sound itself, but allow it to deepen our own inner states. So by learning inner states of relaxation and mindful awareness, we can use the bowls tremendously to help us in healing and meditative states. So again, I'm going to go into just ringing the bowl and learning to just rest within it. You might want to close your eyes a moment even and just listen to the sound quality as I simply ring it. Let the sounds penetrate your awareness. Let it penetrate your cells. You might sit very restfully, even going into a laying posture at times if you're just listening to the sounds of the bowl. Listen to the difference of quality when I strike it softly and when I strike it harder. Feel how the sound just continues to expand out and expand out. Like the sound of the ringing bell used in Tibetan practices, it represents the nature of emptiness or spaciousness, which is a fundamental state of consciousness, indeed a fundamental state of the cosmos. The more that we can go into a state of emptiness, mindful awareness, or deep spaciousness, we can develop what's known as a clear view, which helps us to see our life situations better and to make clear choices and vibrant decisions as we take action within our lives. Let's just rest in a state of mindfulness with the sound of the bowl. You can use the bowl to help you go into just a simple state of clarity, just letting the sound clear away the obstacles of thought or mental agitation, and just rest in the simple sound of clarity of the bowl. If other thoughts or feelings arise, you just give them away, let them go. Even imagine the sound like waves of the ocean, just carrying the other thoughts or feelings away as you go into simple spaciousness or clarity within the sound of the bowl itself. Perhaps breathing that state of awareness either into the third eye center or into the heart center, deep in the center of chest. You might use whichever center works with you best. If you're a more logical and rational person, you might work better with the third eye. If you're a more feeling or emotional person, it might be easier to go into the heart state and let the bowl work with you there. Just entering a state of mindful clarity or spaciousness, allowing the sound of the bowl to carry your awareness out, you resting within the center of that. And if you're working with others, this is a very good starting point to just enter clarity or a state of awareness known as coherence or spaciousness. Spaciousness is just like emptiness. Just sink out into a vast field. Let your mind expand and let everything else go. You cannot hold, for instance, spaciousness and a state of chaos or stress at the same time. They just can't coexist. So if you focus your awareness on spaciousness, let the sound carry your awareness out into a deep field of spaciousness. It can help the body regenerate and come into a restful mode. Coherence will work similarly. Coherence is an emotional state we might call the positive feeling states. Coherence are those feelings which bind us together. So they're the positive states such as unconditional love, peacefulness, compassion, gratitude or appreciation. And there's a good deal of science that shows that by maintaining these coherent states of emotion, that it actually will improve our immune system, our heartbeat, or our blood pressure, our respiratory rate, and things like this. Measurably, by science, by simply focusing on a state of coherence or positive feelings, it improves our wellness in measurable ways. So we can take a state of peacefulness or unconditional love or compassion and let the bowl, the sound of the bowl, just enhance that felt sense. We want to use the feeling states to go into this mindful state of awareness and simply allow the bowl to carry us there and to penetrate other obstacles that are in the way and carry them out. Focusing again on mindful awareness, clarity, spaciousness, or coherence. And we can do the same thing as we begin to rub the side of the bowl and make it sing. So look at the angle of my hand and the movement of my wrist. The smaller the bowl, the less movement I need. This is a fairly large bowl, and I'm having to move my entire arm from the shoulder and elbow out around, trying to keep this same impression upon the bowl, about a 20 or 30 degree angle, I'm guessing. And I just have to experiment with how much pressure to put on the bowl. I need some drag on it, so I need to have a little pressure, but if I'm having trouble moving the wand, perhaps it's too much pressure. If I'm not getting a sound out of the bowl, perhaps I do not have enough pressure. And the same thing is true with the speed of the wand. I can go faster and make a louder sound. That can be overwhelming for some people, especially in a smaller room. I can move the wand slower and make a softer sound. So I just want to find the speed, the rhythm, the pressure that works for me and creates a good sound. For some of us, when we first begin the movement of the wand in singing the bowl in this way, we need to just experiment with the amount of pressure that we put on the wand and the speed. And it just takes time, so just play with that. It's always helpful if you have difficulty singing the bowl to strike it once. That gets the sound of the bowl reverberating, and that actually helps begin the movement to sing it with the wand moving around the edge. The frosted bowls literally have a frosted coating on them, so if I'm working with one of the suede wands, you can hear a bit of a swishing sound that occurs when the suede is moving around the edge of the bowl, and this is distracting to some people. They don't like it as much as the smooth sound of silicone or rubber. So we have silicone and rubber balls that do not make that swishing sound, but we also have this new crystal wand, which is a crystal rod and has a silicone sleeve on it, and it's a very clean sound. So we're currently enjoying these a great deal and highly recommend them. You can find these on our pages if you don't have one. So once you're comfortable playing the bowl, when you're first learning, you may need to watch the wand to make sure you maintain the right angle, pitch, or speed and pressure. But over time, you can go into inner meditative states and rest similarly with the mindful states of clarity, coherence, or spaciousness. Just pick one that you would like to be with. And again, if you're working with another person, you might just ask them, why don't you just go into the heart center and feel the nature of spaciousness within the heart. If you have difficulty feeling it, you can imagine it, or recall a time in which you felt spaciousness. Perhaps you were standing out by a river, up on a mountaintop with the world open to you. Perhaps you were laying out on a farmer's field at night, staring out into the vastness of space, your mind literally expanding out into the stars. So recall a time or imagine a time in which you might experience spaciousness. Recall it with enough vigor that you actually can feel that spacious state again. And then once you can feel it, you go into the feeling states and you let go of the memory. Now in a feeling state of spaciousness here and now. Breathing into that felt sense of spaciousness within the heart center. And on the out-breath, letting everything else go. Breathing into the felt sense of spaciousness on the in-breath. On the out-breath, letting everything else go. And this allows us to go into this great place of clarity through spaciousness with using our breath and our awareness and incorporating the sound as a tool that enhances that state, but also like the sound waves moving out and out, we give away the obstacles of other thoughts and feelings that arise from our stressful lives, from our life situations. Just give them to the sound and let it carry it out, like waves upon the ocean, going infinitely out, just letting it go, breathing into space, the felt sense of spaciousness. On the out-breath, letting everything else go. And again, we can't experience spaciousness and a state of stress or chaos simultaneously. It just can't happen. So if we learn to focus our awareness in spaciousness through the feeling states, we can enter that state and have the ability to come into mindful awareness, into inner clarity, what the Tibetans might call clear view. And by entering clear view, it allows clear choices to arise. So we first develop the inner state of clarity or spaciousness. And then we can bring a life situation into view without engaging in it, without feeling into it. Perhaps I had difficulty with my partner or with colleagues at work, or I'm just really stressful on the long drive to work in the mornings. Let me bring that life situation into my state of spaciousness, into my clear view, without engaging in it, without going into those stressful feelings. I'm letting those go. And I'm just looking at the life situation. And I ask a simple question. How can I clarify this situation? How can I come into better relationship with my life partner, with my family, with my children or parents, with my colleagues at work, whoever it is, just one choice at a time. How can I come into better relationships with this meaningful other in my life? Look at the life situation causing stress. Ask the question, and from the place of clear view, look for clear choices, clear actions you can take. If it's a stressful drive to work, perhaps I can go in earlier in the morning and eat breakfast at a local place near my work. Perhaps there's another route I know that maybe it has more traffic lights, but it doesn't have as much traffic. Perhaps there's another alternative that I can see more distinctly when I go into clear view, rather than making the same choices over and over from my obstructed view, from the stress of the situation itself. Clear space, clear view. It's an excellent tool to use to come into mindful awareness to make better choices in my life situations. I let the sound of the bowl enhance that state of clarity, and I allow the sound waves to carry away any of the stress or distraction that might arise as I consider my choices and actions through this life situation. If I wish to, I can bring voice into it, and this can enhance the practice even more. When I come into that mindful, clear, or spacious state, let me give a voice to that. It will enhance the quality of it within my own awareness. I could begin with a very simple sound like the Om sound, which from the Hindu perspective is the sound of creation itself. So by sounding the sound of Om, I'm engaging in connecting with the universal sound. Whether that's true or not, if I can use my awareness, my intention to intend to connect with the nature of the universe, with universal nature through the sound of Om, that can open my awareness to that possibility. And I can expand and feel more embraced by the universe and feel more embracing of the universe and others in my life. So let's just play with the sound Om for a moment. Deep breaths, allowing my mind to imagine myself coming into awareness with universal consciousness through the sound itself. Deep breath, a moment of quiet between the breaths and sounds. Oh. tuning to universal consciousness. I'm realizing that I am a part of that. Might just continue this as a practice, or I might imagine the light of universal consciousness coming into and igniting in my third eye or my heart. And then I focus upon that pure light of consciousness, and I allow the sound to ignite it. We allow this inherent light of consciousness to ignite within the third eye or the heart with our mindful awareness and with the sound of the bowl enhancing that. We allow this light to bridge out into the vast and infinite space around and within us, interconnecting, interweaving with the universal nature of consciousness. The universal nature of life, we are a part of that. Through the sound of Om, through the light of consciousness, we interweave, we interconnect with all of life. And using the sound of the bowl and of our voice, with our own mindful awareness, we enhance that state, that level of awareness and interconnection. Just allow it to be so. And we can simply continue with this as our practice, certainly as a foundation practice for ourselves, or working with others, working with clients, working with groups, working in a yoga center or other simple meditative center, learning to integrate a very simple practice with the sound of the instruments that we're using. In this case, the crystal bowl. One crystal bowl is all that we need if we learn to use mindful awareness as a tool with it, that the sounds enhance the states of awareness that we seek to enter into. We might have our clients imagine that they're bathing in a warm pool of water with a soft light upon them. They can feel that light penetrating. They can feel the water taking away their cares. And with or without the sound of Om, just the sound of the bowl. Just rest in the warm water, letting the sounds penetrate your cells and carry away all of your difficulties and obstacles. Or sounding the sound of Om with me. Learning to just sustain a continual clear sound with the bowl. Just finding that nice, even rhythm of the wand to continue it singing, to where it becomes second nature. It becomes like riding a bike where I don't have to think about it. I don't have to pay attention to it. My mind, my awareness, the bowl, all just working hand in hand. Learning inherent practices from different traditions can help the work so much. Another one we might turn to would be the three lights practice of the Tibetan traditions, Tibetan Buddhism. Within this understanding, we are luminous beings already. It is already so. We have just learned to fix our attention on the external world, and so we're not so aware of the subtle inner states of luminosity of which we all carry. Science is actually studying this and showing that right now that our cells are luminous, our cells emit light. And when we enter coherent states, like these meditative states of clarity, when we enter coherent states, our cells actually become more luminous. It's visible through scientific methods of measuring. And this is fundamentally what the Tibetans would say, that by bringing our awareness into the inner states, we enhance the inherent luminosity of ourself. And though different sects of Buddhism use different ways of doing this practice, the method I learned is the three lights practice, imagining or realizing that there is a pure white light of enlightened mind arising from within the third eye center. There is a pure ruby red light of pure speech arising from within the throat. Pure speech is defined as the perfect union of enlightened mind with the wisdom of the heart, or the wisdom of compassion. Just think about that and how the world would change if we all could speak from this enlightened place of speech, the pure mind in perfect union with pure compassion or pure wisdom. Let us all learn to speak our truth in this way. The ruby red light of pure speech arises inherently from within the throat center. And from within the heart, the cobalt blue light of pure wisdom or pure compassion. It's that same cobalt blue light which is the light of the blue medicine Buddha, the light that can not only resolve all suffering or end suffering, but it can end the root cause of suffering, the pure light of wisdom, the cobalt blue light of compassion. It's inherently arising from within the heart. So we put our intention and awareness into the third eye, pure mind, the throat center, pure speech, and the heart center, pure wisdom or compassion, with pure white, ruby red, and cobalt blue lights emitting from these three centers of consciousness. And we use three seed sounds, Om, Ah, Hum, which resonate within the inherent nature of these states of consciousness of pure mind, pure speech, and pure wisdom. Om, Ah, Hum. And so you can do this meditation yourself with these seed sounds, with the sound of the bowl. You can ask your clients to do it with you. If someone comes to you that has a problem speaking their truth, you might focus just on the throat chakra, for instance. But integrating all three is the way in which I was taught this. So let's do that practice together. We bring our awareness into the third eye. We imagine a pure light, a pure mind or enlightened mind arising from within the third eye. And the sound of Om arises from within it. And both the light and the sound hold what we call the Vajra quality, that actually clarifies or dissolves any obstacles or obscurations, which means that which obscures me from seeing pure reality directly. That which obscures me from seeing pure reality directly. So the Vajra quality of sound and light dissolves all obscurations. Pure mind, white light, third eye, the sound of Om. Pure speech, ruby red light, the sound of Ah, dissolving all suffering, everything that keeps me from speaking my truth in perfect union with heart and mind. And cobalt blue, the heart of perfect wisdom or the heart of compassion, and the sound of Hum arising from within the heart center. Om, Ah, Hum. We can do these extensively, just one light and one sound at a time. In this practice, we're going to do all three at one time. If you want a more extensive explanation of the practice and the full practice, you can go to our website and look at our CDs and find the 3 lights practice for that. 3 lights, 3 sounds, clarifying pure mind, pure speech, pure heart. Om. And here we are within the 3 lights, resonating pure mind, pure speech, pure heart from within the third eye, heart, and throat chakras. These resonate what's known as the rainbow body, the rainbow lights also. There's a deep and rich history about the rainbow lights within Tibetan Buddhism. Some of the sects use 5 lights and move down into deeper chakras in the body. There are many ways to do it. As I said, we have a CD that explains the 3 lights practice more fully. It incorporates the final aspect known as the assemblage, which is the calling of the holy ones, or the invocation of the wisdom of all Buddhas or all enlightened beings. The invocation of the wisdom of all enlightened beings. And it's using the sacred seed sounds of the chant, Om Ahum Vajraguru Padme Siddhi Hum. It's said to incorporate the wisdom of all Buddhas. Om Ahum Vajraguru Padme Siddhi Hum. 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 Om 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 Om. Learning sacred chants that are based in ancient wisdom have the ability to bring forward deeper wisdom, deeper states of being, healing intentions, and so forth. So learning about the chants and mantras is a beautiful way to work with the bowls and with mindful practices. Again, when we use the sound to enhance a mindful practice, it tends to enhance the overall body of work. It depends a great deal about our intention and the level of awareness that we can bring to that. So it's both attention and intention that we're working with. Just resting in the sounds of the bowls can be enough, but adding mindful practices will enhance it. And again, if you want to learn some practices that we teach, you can look at our CDs online. The Light of Consciousness practice that I did a while ago is the beginning of a CD called The Light of Creation. It's one small aspect of that CD practice, The Light of Creation. So again, working with the bowls, whether just simple ringing them like a bell or singing them with the wand, rubbing them extensively, by itself brings about an enhanced state of awareness. And when we couple that with clarity or spaciousness or coherence, it will enhance that, bring us into that place of clear view that will allow us just to walk in life in a more relaxed way, but also to see more distinctly and clearly, help bring wiser choices to the surface in our actions. And we can meditate while we're practicing those simple mindful practices to draw life situations to us, to enhance our view and to make better choices. This is just one of many ways that we can work with these bowls. And in the process of these videos, we'll be showing more and more ways to work with one and more bowls, with different types of bowls. And you can consult with us also. I'm available for very in-depth consultations to take you into your direct practice, to the level of practice that you're at, whether you're a beginner or you're advanced level practitioner, or you're already in a licensed practice and are trying to bring sound into your practice and want to learn specific practices relative to your client population. No matter your level of experience, we can work with you directly to create consultations and training, either in person or by phone or Skype. And we have at least once or twice a year in-depth retreats and practices that you can attend and learn not just about the bowls, but about the larger array of sound instruments that we teach and use and how they might enhance your life and practice. So in a sacred way, we offer this to you, and I'm grateful that you could join with me during this time. I hope that it was beneficial for you, and I hope that you find the other videos also beneficial. Thank you so much. Many blessings.